Hi, I'm Tony. I'm an author, presenter at Sky Sports, and years ago I went to the jungle and got ill. Very ill. So this is my podcast adventure to find more energy. It's packed with biohacking, science, health tech, supplements, and some of the most well-known experts on the planet.
This is something I spent 4 months of my life doing with electrodes glued to my head so that you can do a lifetime worth of meditation.
Decide what you don't give a fuck about, which is something you don't care about.
Some of it gets quite out there.
I had some stem cells sent up to my house that I had stored, and then I injected myself with mannitol.
And we even hack hangovers.
Alcohol is poisonous. So is water and oxygen in the wrong dosage.
So that's my podcast, Zestology. Live life with energy, vitality, and motivation.
Yes, welcome back. This podcast is all about energy. And as I like to do, out and about recording this podcast intro, so many of the guests on Zestology say that there aren't many more important things in life than to get good sleep, to meditate, to be a little bit more at one with nature and do loads of light exercise. So I kind of figure if I can come out, record a podcast intro and be doing a little bit of light exercise and getting a little bit more at one with nature, then that's a pretty good thing. So down here by the river in West London is a nice place to be, away from the roads. There is an island that is a dedicated bird sanctuary in the middle of the Thames, Oliver's Island, just across from me, and lots of birds hanging out on the little shingly beach as the tide is out there at the moment. You can probably hear them. And that's where I'm recording this podcast intro. So thank you for listening. Today's podcast is with my mate, Brett Moran. And if I think it's nice where I am now, down by the river in West London, it's really nice where he is. He is a master meditator, author and globetrotter, and he's stuck in paradise during lockdown. It's still lockdown for him, and he has turned adversity, not being able to kind of travel around at all, into a positive. Maybe it's not that hard to do when you're stuck in paradise in Thailand, but that is what he's done over the last few months. He's created something very special and life is going really well for him. He's always honest, Brett, and he takes us through his failures as well as his successes on Zestology, and he doesn't kind of sugarcoat anything. And as things are going really great for him at the moment, I'm so pleased for him. He'll talk us through all that, and he's also got a killer tip for you on how to get more done and be happier in the process. Meditation, mindfulness, staying in the moment, surfing, drinking coconut water, it's all here, as always, with Brett. Here he is on Zestology.
Mate, it's been ages. Great to talk to you again.
Feels like forever, mate. When was the last time we spoke?
I think it was when you came to stay and we recorded a podcast and I'd had about 4.5 hours sleep.
Yeah.
I'm getting more sleep now. It's brilliant. But anyway, listen, it's good to talk to you. What is the whole experience? You're in Thailand at the moment. What has the whole experience of the last few months been like for you? I think that's kind of a good place to start.
Okay, mate. So I'm going to answer this, but I'm going to be also very mindful that a lot of people might be listening to this, in lockdown or in a bit of fear and anxiety through whatever they're hearing. To be honest with you, Tony, the last few months of my life have probably been the best. It's been absolutely amazing. I've traveled around to Bangkok. I'm in Phuket right now, learning how to surf. I wrote half of a novel that I've been meaning to write for years. Launched some meditation programs, kind of made more money. Then my business has been amazing in the last few months. It's an online business. And honestly, mate, every day I'm with my friend at the moment. We're surfing and doing yoga every day. Every single day we just look at each other and say like how grateful we are, because we know that the world is in this whole fear and pandemic and stuff and everybody's lost a lot of freedom. We just can't believe how free we are. We're so grateful. So I'm just going to be, really, really honest. It's just been absolutely amazing, mate, to be honest with you. And I really want to share that, because the reason why I want to say it, not to show off, but I think where I'm living now and the lifestyle that I've created over these years, this is just a cause and effect, and I think it's really important for people to think about the choices and the decisions or the careers or the paths that they're on now and where they're going in the future, because this level of freedom that I've got, I think, is because of the choices that I've made over the years and living abroad and living on islands like 4 or 5 years ago. So that whole pandemic and the lockdown thing, I haven't really noticed it, Tony, if I'm honest. A few restaurants were shut on the island that I live on. A lot of people went into fear, so lots of people flew home, but it made the island even quieter, which is brilliant for me because I've just been meditating. So for me, mate, it's been a really, really great couple of months, if I'm honest, mate.
Yeah, and it's great that you obviously prefaced that by saying you know that it's been a dreadful time for a lot of people, because it has. And actually, I was saying to you just before we started recording, in some ways, it's such an anxious time for people, especially those who are more at risk or have lost their jobs or whatever, that it's been a very worrying time over the past few months. And Thailand's borders are shut at the moment, but obviously you live there, so you're there. And in some ways, I think you're in the best place, mate. You're not worrying about anything. I mean, sometimes things like this do make you think, what's it all for? I mean, why am I living in wet West London when I could be in Thailand? Do you know what I mean? So I think you're in the best place, to be honest.
100%, mate. Yeah, totally. And again, the other thing, like we were just talking about, watching the TV too much or news, it's just, I think everything is sometimes secondhand information. I'm not into all the conspiracy theories. I'm not into all of the kind of gossiping. But one thing that I do is I'm very mindful of the information that I'm putting into my mind. And over the last few months, anything I've really kind of heard is just from people in passing. I'm like, it's not affecting me right now on this island. So then why would I put my head into that stuff? And I do think that even if you are in wet West London or somewhere else, you can still be a bit mindful of the stuff that goes into your brain. If you're watching the fear stuff quite a lot, it's going to make you feel quite more anxious, Yeah. And that's something that I've applied like 15 years ago rather than just now. Like I haven't been kind of consuming so much information that just doesn't make me feel good. So I totally get it, mate. Definitely get what you're saying. There's lots of fear and there's lots of anxiety for people, which that's what actually inspires me more to share about meditation, to share about this kind of lifestyle that I live, because I find it sad. I don't think life was meant to be like that. And then if it's secondhand information, which you can't really do anything about it, I just think, what's the point of worrying about it? If you can't do anything right now, don't worry about it right now. Try and live a positive attitude, which is easier said than done. I get where I'm living, I get where other people are going through, so I do understand that. Yeah.
I think when in times of kind of danger or anxiety, people's kind of stimulation levels are heightened, aren't they? And I know, especially at the start of the whole pandemic, I was completely addicted to reading more and more about what was going on, and more horrified, but more and more needing to know the latest information. And more recently, I've tried to kind of double down on the theory that I want to be well informed, as obviously you do, but I don't want to be over informed, because actually it does make me anxious. I don't need to know the daily cases in every country in the world. And I've been using the screen time feature on the iPhone recently to kind of lock out the news sites after a certain period of time, which means that I'm not exposing myself to that. You do it far better than me. And as you say, you've been doing it for a lot longer. And it is clear that you know what's going on. You're well enough informed. You have plenty of empathy for people who are going through a tough time. And then you're getting on with your life, which is actually the way that we'd all probably want to be.
Yeah. Totally, mate. Especially like you say, you've got children, you've got like old members of your family. You're gonna be concerned. You want to know what's kind of going on.
We're not so worried for ourselves in a lot of instances, but we're worried for all the other people that we love. And I mean, that's the whole reason that young, healthy people are kind of shielding and socially distancing. It's looking after people who might be less fortunate themselves or less healthy than themselves. Of course, we all know that, but at the same time, we want to live our lives with the minimal amount of anxiety, the maximum amount of freedom at the same time. And I think you're doing that really well. Yeah. So well done, mate. Bearing all that in mind, then, just kind of give me a taster of what your day's like at the moment. You said you normally live in Koh Phangan, don't you? And a kind of, I've been out there. We recorded a podcast out there, and it is just fantastic. It should be emphasised. It's not the full moon bit. It's the kind of quiet, kind of north side of the island where you live. But at the moment, you've come to Phuket and you're surfing. And you said you're meditating in the morning and then surfing. Is that right?
Yeah, so I literally probably wake up about 6, 7 o'clock, do some breathing, some breath work inside, laying in bed before I even get out of bed. Because you know what the monkey mind's like. I don't know about you and everyone else, but the mind wanders and it starts planning, organising, scheming, or some people check the mobile phone. So I have no mobile phone in my bedroom; it's in the other room, and I just take.
I need to get back to that, mate. I really do. Yeah. I've slipped into a bad habit recently because I like to know the time in the middle of the night. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's easy to slip back into it. It's just trying to do it again, you know. So I'm on it at the moment. I do my breathing exercises in the morning. And then when I realise, like, you know, I'm not the thoughts inside my head, I clear my mind, I feel okay, I get up, do a bit of yoga. Literally at the moment, I'm doing yoga overlooking this balcony. I can send a photo if you want. You can put it on the podcast post or whatever.
That'd be great. That'd be really good. Yeah.
And it's ridiculous, mate. So I'm just doing the yoga as Phuket town kind of starts to wake up. Overlooking the ocean, beautiful, beautiful. My mate Cody's with me. He's a meditation and yoga teacher as well. So he starts practicing yoga. We have a hot water and lemon and ginger cup of tea in the morning. About 10 o'clock, we go down to the beach, do a bit of surfing for a few hours. I mean, to be honest with you, mate, the water has been my fear. So this is me overcoming my fears. And he's just been teaching me to surf, and then go and get some food in a nice vegan restaurant. We do a few hours working online. We both sell online courses and teach stuff online, and I have one-to-one coaching clients. And in the evening, we'll go and get a bit of food and just meet some people. So it's been amazing. Again, it's this. I mean, the only weird. I'll be honest. It's very weird because everything seems to be shut in Phuket.
Yeah,
I got an international airport here, so obviously they've closed the airport. There's no tourists around. Lots of expats that still live here. But to be honest with you, mate, I'm going to be, even when I was living in Koh Phangan, I went to Koh Samui last month, which is an island opposite where I live. And it's actually nice to see less tourists. You see a lot more local people.
Yeah.
It's not nice for local people because, you know, the businesses have gone down. I get it. You know, my heart goes out to anybody that's sick or losing money. I get it. But it's actually nice to see places kind of back to kind of how they probably used to be before the tourists come over and kind of, you know, in a way, you know, it's good to pump money into a place, but gets a bit loud and noisy and drinky and kind of ruins it in a way. So from my point of view, I'm like, that's quite nice. So my days, honestly, generally are pretty blissful, if I'm honest.
Yeah. So you're actually doing the kind of the meditation and the surfing and the kind of self-care stuff in the morning, and then you're working in the afternoon. Is that right?
Yeah, well, there's a 6-hour difference in time. I think it's 6 or 7 hour difference at the moment. And so basically, you know, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for me is 9 o'clock in the morning for the UK. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm doing all my stuff during the day. About 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock or something like that is when we kind of come back. So we go for about an hour or 2 hours. And then I start posting on Instagram for a few hours, but still doing that same thing. Remember I said, like, deleting Instagram off the mobile phone. So I have to download it at 3 o'clock. Yeah. 3 o'clock, I do a free live meditation every day on Instagram stories. And then that's when I've got my clients.
I haven't done that. I'll try dialing in for that. Dialing in is a bit of an old school phrase. Oh, I'll dial into that. I will. I'll make sure I check it out.
Dial in. Yeah. And so my work starts in the afternoon, and then finish in the evening, mate. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's great. We were in Greece last week, and I was swimming about 3 times a day in the sea. And there's something about, and I was saying to Faith, you know, I mean, actually, some days I woke up very groggily. We weren't getting the best night's sleep, and that wasn't because we were going out and partying, but a small human was waking us up very early in the mornings. But the moment you get in the sea, you just feel it is completely changes your state, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think, I totally agree, mate. I was going out trying to surf for like an hour, and I'm shattered, mate, because I'm using all my energy and I'm new at it. And then so I'd go and sit on the surfboard and just watch my mate surf and watch everyone else. And that in itself was just as good as surfing or just as good as meditation. It's just something about there's something in the water as well, the minerals or the electrolytes being by the ocean. Totally. I agree, mate, 100%.
Even the few mornings I woke up with a slightly cranky back and I had a quick dip in the sea, and I felt like that crankiness completely disappeared, and I felt fantastic afterwards. I mean, I suppose there's an element of kind of grounding and getting back to nature as well. Definitely the minerals and the magnesium in the sea as well. And also, like, it's not quite a kind of cold plunge, is it? But it's just kind of so invigorating getting in the sea, and especially in the Thai sea when it's nice and warm as well. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. I was just about to say that, mate. You know, obviously people in London, you know, they can't jump in the ocean or sea, but you can still get out in nature, go to a park, take your shoes and socks off, and put your feet on the floor, and you're starting to ground to the earth. And like, I used to do this, like this life that I'm living now wasn't always this way, as most people like know when we've done the other podcasts. But I would still, even when I was living, you know, in some crazy situations and on that start of that journey to change my life, to take control of my life, to create a life of freedom, I would be the person that would go and sit in nature for 20 minutes and just take my shoes and socks off and just, as hippie-fied as it sounds, I would sit by the trees or just touch the trees. And I know it sounds crazy, but I honestly felt, you know, like some kind of healing, or like what you just said with the ocean. I just felt free, or a meditation. So you don't need to be in, you know, Greece, or you might not even have the opportunity to get on a plane right now, but you can, there's definitely a park. If you're allowed out, there's a park and you can just take a walk in the park, breathe that fresh air in. And even if you are on lockdown, one technique I learned years ago, Tone, it's never left me, was the book said to me, I can't even remember what the book was, but it said literally, when you wake up in the morning, open your window, stick your head out that window and take 5 deep breaths. And mate, it was a game changer. Imagine that. Most people are looking at the news or scrolling, or, you know, you got to put a coffee in, whatever you're doing. Literally, before you do anything, go out there, just take 5 deep breaths, in through your nose, out through your nose. And it was like my mind was clear. And then it changed. And all those techniques that I do now, they're just kind of like glorified from these little techniques I did when I couldn't jump on a plane and live in Thailand. You know, that's where it all started, or taking my shoes and socks off and sitting in a park.
I'm so glad that you've talked about that, actually, because I suppose you're right. It is quite simple, but I have slipped back into the habit of kind of checking my phone first thing in the morning. And actually, I know that I have better mornings when I don't. So, so I'm going to start leaving it downstairs as of tonight, inspired by you. Thank you for that.
Boom. 5 deep breaths out the window.
5 deep breaths out the window. And I suppose it's not quite the same as we did say when we were leaving Greece. Why are we coming home again? But I think we know there's plenty of reasons, including work. But yeah, it's nice to get a bit of nature. And actually, we are very lucky to live in a lovely part of the world here in London as well. Just interrupting this podcast for one moment to remind you that it is brought to you by Masszymes. If there's one thing you should be worried about not getting enough of, it's enzymes. Enzymes are like, how can I put it, the workhorses of digestion. They break your food down into stuff that you can actually use and kind of get the nutrients out of. There are 2 big problems with enzymes. Most digestive enzymes are cheap and ineffective, and most do not have enough protease for digesting healthy high-protein diets. Yes, I didn't know what protease was either, but I do now. And that is why I'm very excited that this podcast is sponsored by a product that I use myself. It is Masszymes, a new enzyme product, the most complete, most potent digestive enzyme with 102% more protease than the nearest competitor. And if you go into your local high street store, way more, like 300 to 500% more. So Masszymes, loads of protease, and protease is the thing that helps you with bloating and inflammation and getting all the goodness out of the nutrients that you're eating. So this podcast is brought to you by Masszymes, and you can get 10% off by using the code ZESTOLOGY10. In fact, if you select some packages on their site, you can get up to 48% off. So if you go to bioptimizers.co.uk, use the code ZESTOLOGY10, you will get your discount. You might get up to 48% off as well. You won't even find that deal on Amazon. You will only find it on bioptimizers.co.uk. If you're in America or anywhere else, just head to bioptimizers.com, and remember, Bioptimizers is spelt with a Z. One more thing to tell you, and that is that you can use this code for anything in the Bioptimizers range. So you can use it for Masszymes, you can use it for Magnesium Breakthrough, you can use it for anything else. Bioptimizers.co.uk and bioptimizers.com. Use the code ZESTOLOGY10 and fill your boots. Back to the show. So you've been doing the meditation. How long do you meditate a day for then?
Different now, mate, to be honest with you. When I first started, it would be like strict 20-30 minute sessions. I'd even set my alarm and I'd sit up straight and I'd do it. And I know it sounds very cliche, but now my day is my meditation. Like, I think meditation becomes more of a way of life. So I do, I meditated this morning for like 20-30 minutes after my yoga practice. I meditated last night for probably 5 or 10 minutes sitting on my bed before I went to sleep. But I'm trying to meditate as I'm riding my motorbike, driving to the beach. I'm trying to meditate when a wave knocks me off and a little bit of fear comes up, or when I look at some person in a restaurant and they start talking to me. I'm trying to meditate. And what I mean by that, meditation is just kind of like you're mindful. You're just in that present moment, and you're just feeling a sensation or an emotion come up if it's fear because of a wave. or you're talking to the person in the restaurant, but you're actively listening rather than trying to butt in and tell them how great, or tell them your fear or whatever it is. You're just in that present moment. So I do still sit down, but like I don't time it as much anymore. And the great thing is my job is teaching people to meditate and to calm that mind and to reduce these anxieties and stress. So I probably do 2 or 3 clients a day, and I'm teaching them 20-30 minute meditation. So I go into that space with them. If I was starting out, the first thing I would say to anybody, 5 or 8 minutes a day, set your alarm, use that mobile phone, 5 minutes a day, just sit there, close your eyes. And meditation isn't about stopping your thoughts and stopping thinking and becoming some guru or a hippie. It's literally just watching the nature of your mind whizzing all over the place and just knowing that you're not those thoughts, that you can witness them. And you don't have to keep following the plans or the fears and the schemes, basically the stories that are in your head. And if you can do that, if you can just watch those stories, eventually those stories start to calm down. Eventually they start to settle, and you realize that you're beyond those stories. You're that emptiness, that space in between. But yeah, 5 minutes a day is a game changer. There's actually neurological scientific proof that a 5-minute meditation for 30 days starts to change the neurological pathways in your brain. So I always say to people, I think I said it once on your podcast, 5 minutes a day, 30 days, just see how you feel. I guarantee you feel different after a couple of days, literally a week.
Well, that's great. And actually, that totally ties in with James Clear. He wrote this book, Atomic Habits. And he says, look, if you want to start a new habit, aim very low. Set the bar very low. Because if you say, oh, I'm going to meditate an hour a day, on day 3, you won't be able to do an hour and you'll stop doing it. But if you start off with 5 minutes or even 2 minutes, then you start building up. And when we started at the start of the year, we set up a separate WhatsApp group, a family WhatsApp group, where we would update how long we meditated for each day. And it tended to be like, 10 minutes a day. And now it's up to 20 or 30 minutes a day, just because we've given ourselves space to develop that habit. And we started fairly low. We set the bar low at first, and now we're going to do it more. And I agree with you. I mean, the benefits are just absolutely enormous, especially if you're like me and you've got a very well developed monkey mind and you find it quite hard, to be honest, to focus on stuff for more than about 5 minutes at a time. So that's great. And then I know you've launched, you mentioned your meditation training. You've launched this new program recently, which has been extremely successful already. Congratulations on that, mate. Tell me a little bit more about it.
Mate, I really appreciate it. Yeah, we just literally had another 66 people sign up for the next course. We qualified 60 people last month. And basically, it's a meditation teacher training program. So it's a 10-week journey with me. It's all live as well. So basically, I guide people through all these meditations I've been doing for years and, working with people as one-to-one kind of clients. And you come on the course either for 2 reasons. Number one, you want to deepen or start your meditation journey. You want to create that habit and learn a lot more than just the breathing exercises, learn how to unlock your mind, learn how to kind of find that emptiness and that kind of peace and reduce these anxieties. Or number 2, you come on because you want to become a certified meditation teacher through my company. And then you can start doing one-to-one work like I do. Like I'm literally sitting on the beach, teaching people how to meditate. And now I don't even use my laptop. I'm using my mobile phone. It's all on WhatsApp and getting paid good money to help people reduce stress and anxiety. So I want to create freedom. I feel like my purpose in life is to raise consciousness. Consciousness is just awareness, right? And I just want to create freedom for people, whether it's mental freedom from all those crazy thoughts and that monkey mind, whether it's emotional freedom, letting go of that emotional baggage, or even, believe it or not, financial freedom. I think a lot of people feel more pressured and stuck, especially lately, losing jobs and money, and they just haven't had that financial freedom. Now, I'm not saying I'm a millionaire, Tone, by far, but it's nice to have money and you haven't got stress about it. I'm not into this whole become spiritual, start meditating, and then give up every worldly kind of possession and go and live in a cave. I just think that's just not where I'm at, to be honest with you. There's nothing wrong with having great stuff. And I think it's nice if you have got money in the bank so you haven't got to worry about it. If you've got a few months to kind of get by, or even a year saving so you haven't got to worry about a job. Or even just, if you've got money in the bank, you can actually do more meditation. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I actually think a lot of people over this last few months have started to question their careers, question their purpose. And so this 10-week teacher training is an opportunity for people to come on, go deep into the meditations, learn how to kind of like improve their mental health, their emotional health. And also for some people that feel drawn to it, start a new career, start working for yourself. And I'm proof that you can live anywhere in the world, still have a lot of adventure and fun, and make a shitload of money while you're doing it.
That's great.
One of the good things on our course.
Carry on. One
of the things on our course, we created this affiliate program just to prove that I really mean what I'm trying to preach. We've created this affiliate program where basically when you join the course, you get an affiliate link, and we just give people 50% of any course that they sell for us. One lady joined our course last month. She's made £1,000 this month. She's made £1,000 by sharing the link. And there's half of that. There's probably a dozen stories of people who have made 250, 500 quid commissions. And literally, we give them the link. They go off and share it with their friends, their family, or anybody that wants to do some meditation. I do all the hard work. I tell them about the 10-week course. I sell them the course. And we've had so many success stories, Tone. It's ridiculous. And it's not about the Brett Show. I couldn't care less about, me getting followers and all that sort of stuff. I'm just so passionate about that freedom because I just feel so blessed that I'm living this life, and I just want to show other people how to do it. So that's the 10-week program. It's an opportunity to go deeper into your practice and then maybe create that freedom. Because the choices that we're making now, or people at home now, like that's creating 2021. Whatever you're doing right now or not doing right now, you're going to create another year of it next year, or you're going to create more freedom next year. So we start in October. It's another 10 weeks, and it's just giving people that opportunity to start making some positive choices for the future.
That's brilliant. So so you're sitting on the beach and you have a WhatsApp group with the people that are in the course, and you do the course from the beach.
Literally on my balcony. I'm like 5
on the
feet.
balcony.
Yeah, just because on the beach I get too many sand up me on my mobile phone. So yeah, I'm literally looking at the beach. It's ridiculous. Lovely. Or even like now, I've just done the meditation on the balcony. It's and I'm not really into, to be honest with you, Tony, that kind of quick get rich schemes and all this millionaire internet marketers. I've been studying marketing for 7 years, so like now it's paying off. It's taken me 7 years, so I'm not saying that the results are going to happen overnight, but we're actually proving now that people can do this. And obviously the way the world is going, the internet's only going to get bigger, more people are buying online products. So if it's called for some people, if they feel drawn to it, this is a great opportunity to create that freedom.
So the meditation course, do you do what, like one session a week, and then there's some stuff to do when you're not kind of on a live call as well?
Good question, mate. No, we do 5-hour workshops every Sunday for 10 weeks. So you've got to be committed for it. You come and listen to me live. Obviously, everything is recorded, goes into a membership area. So if you can't attend live, people got children, they've got other commitments, they can listen to it. And another great thing, you've kind of mentioned it, which I think is why you guys are meditating now for 20 minutes like your family, is, pardon me, we've created a buddy system. So to become a qualified meditation teacher, I have asked people to, for example, me and you are buddies. We're both on this course. I'm going to meditate with you for 20 minutes a day. I guide you through the meditation that you've learned from Brett on Sunday. And then you are going to guide me. And then you record that. And then I mark it. And then you qualify as a teacher. And you do that Monday to Friday, 20, 30 minutes every day. So it's a lot. There's a lot of effort in there. There's a lot of time, commitment, a lot of energy. And, but it turns you into somebody then creates that kind of daily commitment and consistency. And it's like an accountability partner, accountability buddy. And I think that's probably the biggest reason why a lot of people struggle with meditating, because if you're keeping yourself accountable, after 2 or 3 days you get bored and you start scrolling again on Instagram.
That's so good, mate. That sounds absolutely brilliant. And then the 5 hours, that's a big chunk on a Sunday, isn't it?
So, mate, yeah, it's a lot, mate. So it's a big commitment. We do like an hour meditation. We do different exercises, and then we talk a bit of theory and lots of questions and answers, and people ask anything. Mate, as a proper plug that was for the course.
I know. I'm just like so interested in it all. I'll have to take the course. It'd be
do you want me to send you the link?
Do you want me to
send you the link so you can sign up now? So.
If I don't get one of those 50% affiliate links, then I'm not doing it.
Mate, honestly, on a serious note, like we have got a free webinar, so basically just so people can come and listen to what it's about and what's involved. There's a free webinar, and I can give you the link so people can come and listen to that. No catch whatsoever. They listen to the free webinar, and if they're interested, they can ask any more questions. So yeah, I'm really into it to raise that consciousness, raise that freedom.
Good. That's great, mate. Well, you are truly living the life over there, and I'm really pleased that you've had a great few months. I think you are in the best place at the moment, and as I said, I'm hoping to see you in 3 months' time. I've absolutely no idea if it's going to happen or not. The borders, at the time of recording, the borders of Thailand are not even open, are they? So we might not be seeing you in 3 months' time, but we might. I keep my fingers crossed for it. It'd be great to see you and and you can teach me surfing at that point as well.
Quality. I'd love to see you, mate. It'd be amazing.
Yeah. And the surfing thing was Why did you say you were scared of the water? It's just something that you weren't comfortable around, or?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I haven't got a clue. I love swimming, but there's just been something about the ocean. Maybe it's the fish. So last year I challenged myself. I went scuba diving a few times, started doing some rock diving, like jumping off into the water and backflips in Thailand. And then this year was like jump on a surfboard. And I must admit, I was a little bit apprehensive the first day we got out there. But after that, mate, it just goes to show that these fears are such illusion, because the first time I did that scuba diving, I was absolutely buzzing. I didn't want to come back out of the water. The first day after the surfing, I loved it. I couldn't wait to get back out the next day. So it was just to overcome a fear. I don't even know where that fear came from. But now I absolutely love it. And it always makes me think, what other things are we holding ourselves back from in life? Whatever it is, doesn't have to be water. It could be anything else. Where else do we say, oh, that's just, a lot of people say, oh, it's not for me. That's not me. And I think really subconsciously, that's the kind of like, how do you know what you is? How do you really know? I used to say, no, it's not for me, scuba diving. It's not for me. Started wakeboarding again this year as well. And that's been phenomenal. On the back of my mate's speedboat, doing wakeboarding for the last few months, just going across the Gulf of Thailand and the ocean. It's just been ridiculous. I'm like, why haven't I been doing this longer?
Yeah.
So I think those fears are just an illusion.
That's great that you are really pushing yourself. Yeah. Brilliant. All right. Well, look, Brett, one book and one tip for living with more energy, vitality and motivation. I've asked you this question before, but I'm going to ask you again. What is one book you would recommend and one tip for living with more energy and vitality?
Funny you saying that. You always ask me this, and I'm always like, "Oh no, I've got to get the books out." It's How to Own Your Mind by Napoleon Hill. How to Own Your Mind by Napoleon Hill. He interviewed a guy. Napoleon Hill is a guy that wrote Think and Grow Rich. Most people know because of that. Yes. He interviewed Dale Carnegie, I think it is, or Henry Ford, one of those guys. And it's a really, really, really good book. And it's just literally, I believe that you do own your mind and your emotions. And this book basically tells you how to do that. So highly recommend that. Gives you like more purpose in your life, more focus, more discipline. It's a great book. Literally got it with me in Phuket right now. And what was the second question, mate?
One tip for living with more energy, vitality and motivation.
I think we've said it, mate, really, mate. Just, less, like a bit of a social media, news media detox, unless you're watching you and your sports stuff. More nature. Take your shoes and socks off, go and hug a tree, or just open a window and take 5 breaths. I know it's really basic common sense, but you will know, if you do it regularly, you'll notice that energy goes up. Like you said, you've started to look at the mobile phone again, you're scrolling or doing whatever, checking whatever, and you'll notice it creates an effect. But, we have to kind of like test these things out and go back to the old patterns 100 times before it becomes a routine. But I would definitely say that, a bit more nature, less kind of screen time.
Yeah. And I think also, one thing I have been doing well recently is incorporating exercise into my working day. So I have to go in a minute, and we've recorded a decent length podcast, so I've got another chat with someone. It's not a podcast, therefore I can have that meeting walking around, and I'm going to walk down to the river and walk along the river while I'm doing the meeting. And it's very simple, just rack your steps up while you're talking to someone. It's nice. So Brett, it's so good to talk to you. I feel really inspired. I so hope I can see you in January. We'll record some podcasts in person in January. It'd be really nice. And we'll go get some food. I'd love to do a bit of surfing as well. I'm probably a bit like you, bit nervous of. I've done it a few times, but I'm not very good at it. So I'd love to do a little bit more of that. And where can people find out more about the meditation program?
Literally just visit my website, www.brett-moran.com. But to be honest with you, mate, find me on Instagram and just reach out personally. I'm always answering. So it's just Brett Moran. _ simply reach me out on Instagram, and I'll get back to you. I'll send you the links and try the free workshop to see if it's your cup of tea.
Good stuff.
If not, do some of the techniques that Tony said. Mate, lovely to talk to you, mate. I love you loads.
Good to talk to you. Likewise, love you loads as well. Thanks, Brett. That's it for this episode of Zestology. Thank you for listening. And a quick reminder that it is brought to you by my proud podcast partner, Masszymes. Why do you need Masszymes? Why would you even bother thinking about Masszymes? I'll tell you why. I've always been interested in optimizing the gut, because I kind of feel if you sort out the gut, everything else will fall into place. And your gut doesn't necessarily absorb all the protein you've consumed. I definitely think this is an issue for me. It can only absorb protein that's been broken down.
And that's where Masszymes come in. With Masszymes, you'll be consuming 100,000 HUTs of protease enzymes per capsule. This helps to enhance the absorption of key amino acids and really breaks down what you're eating. That's why you want to get involved. Okay, so digestive supplement for men and women, so digestive enzyme supplement, and it is pretty much the best and the strongest on the market. So Masszymes, get involved. If you want 10% off, you can use the code Zestology10 when you head to bioptimizers.com or bioptimizers.co.uk. It's bioptimizers.com or bioptimizers.co.uk. Thank you as always for listening. That is pretty much it from me. Got some podcast treats on the way for you very shortly, including in the next couple of weeks another hacks episode. I enjoy doing these hacks episodes. They are solo episodes, talk about the things that have been working for me recently. One of the things I've been trying out recently is an app called Moment, which you activate on your phone and basically runs in the background all the time and works out how often you are using your phone to do things that you might just be better off not doing. Scrolling on Instagram for the 46th minute that day when you could be doing something more productive like reading a book or sitting in the sun or working out or whatever it might be. Moment, if you haven't had a look at this, you might want to look it up. I'll do a full review in this hacks episode in the next couple of weeks, and loads of other stuff like that coming as well. So that's all on the way very shortly on Zestology. Do check out Masszymes as well. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.